All right, we're going to start talking about adding and subtracting polynomials. And that's just a fancy word for lots of terms put together. So a term is a number, such as 7, or a variable, such as y, or the product just of a number and variable, such as like 8x. Okay, they're just attached to each other. And so a polynomial just means that I have lots of terms all put together by addition or subtraction. And we have different types of polynomials. The first one is a monomial, meaning I just have one term. A binomial means I have two terms. Trinomial is 3 different terms. And a polynomial means I have more than 3 terms. And so here I'm showing you how you could separate them. They're all separated by pluses or minuses. So on this polynomial, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different terms. Okay. Now, like terms have the same variable and the same raised to the same exponent. And all of your constants, meaning all of just your numbers, are like terms. So when I say 2x squared, the only thing like another like term would be 3x squared, because they have the same exponent raised to the same power. But if I say 2x squared and 3x, those are not like terms. Okay? So these ones are like terms, these ones are not. All we're going to do though is we're going to add them up. And this is just like combining like terms, things that you have done in middle school, a little bit already in Algebra 1. So here, number 1, I have parentheses, but there's nothing out in front of my parentheses, which means I can just rewrite the problem without the parentheses. Then plus, I have another set of parentheses. This is a trinomial, but there's no number here, so I can just rewrite the problem again. And now all I want to do is add up my like terms. So my like terms have the same variable and the same exponent. So there I have 5x squared. We're adding, which means the exponent stays the same, and I just add the coefficients out in front. And then I have negative 3x and positive 5x, which makes a positive 2x. And then the last one is negative 5 plus 3. So I have negative 5 and a positive 3, which makes a negative 2. And that's my final answer. Now in number 2, they already have the like terms lined up for you. And if you like this, you can also line up your like terms. So 5 plus 6 is 11. Keep the x squared. Negative 4 and negative 9 is negative 13. Keep the x. And negative 8 and positive 7 is negative 1. And again, that's your final answer. On number 3, the first set of parentheses doesn't have anything out in front, so I can just rewrite that set. But the second one has a positive 5, so we are going to distribute it to every term inside the parentheses. 5 times 7 is a 35x squared. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5x. And 5 times 2 is positive 10. And now I'm just going to add up my like terms. 14x squared plus 35x squared. We have 4 and 5 make 9, 3 and 1 make 4, 49x squared. And then I have a negative 9x and negative 5x, which makes negative 14x. And then I'm left with this 10. And I just bring it down. Okay. Number 4, same way. Nothing written out in front. So that means these parentheses can disappear. And I'm just going to rewrite it. Okay, this second set of parentheses also does not have anything out in front, which means it can disappear. But I don't want to just write 4x cubed. It's a positive, so I need to put that plus sign in. And then plus 3x squared plus 15. Now we're going to add up our like terms. So the x cubes are one set of terms that can be put together. 10 plus 4 is 14x cubed. And then we have negative 4x squared and a positive 3x squared. Again, like terms because they have the x squared. Add negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1x squared. And then I have a 22x, and there's no other term in here that has an x, so it's just plus 22x. And then the last part is I have two constants, negative 23 and positive 15. And I add those together and get negative 8. All right, turn over. Let's look at the difference here if we're subtracting. Subtracting polynomials, very similar. This first part here has nothing in front, which means I can just rewrite the first set of parentheses. And then this part here says minus, and there's really a minus 1, and I want you to write it in and circle it, and we're going to distribute it, meaning we're going to multiply it to everything in the parentheses. So negative 1 times 6 is negative 6x squared. Negative 1 times negative 9 is positive 9x. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. And now we're just going to go through and add up our like terms. So I have 5x squared and negative 6x squared, which makes negative 1x squared. I have negative 4x and positive 9x. Make sure you're including those signs. If you add those together, you get positive 5x. And then the last part, I have a negative 8 and a negative 7, which added together gives you negative 15. Number 2, same thing. I have a negative 1 here in front that gets distributed. So I'm going to rewrite the first part, 4x squared minus 3x plus 2. I'm going to distribute this and get negative 4x squared, negative 3x, negative 6. And then we're going to combine like terms. So I have 4x squared, negative 4x squared, that gives you 0. Then I have negative 3x plus negative 3x, which is negative 6x. And then the last thing is positive 2 and negative 6, which gives you negative 4. All right, number 3. Nothing in front, so I'm going to rewrite it. 17x minus 6. Here I have a negative 1 in front. So I'm going to circle it, and it gets distributed to the 5 and the 10. So negative 1 times 5 is negative 5x. Negative 1 times negative 10 is positive 10. Then I have a positive 4x squared. And then there's nothing in front of the parentheses again, so I'm just going to write plus 3x minus 7. So now when I combine like terms, I have 17x, negative 5x, and positive 3x. This 4 does not count as part of my like terms because it has a square. So 17 minus 5 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. So 15x. And then I have negative 6 plus 10 minus 7. So negative 6 plus 10 is 4. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. And then the last part is I have still this 4x squared. So you could put it at the end. I'm actually going to go up here and put it first. All right, you try 4 and 5. On number 4, remember you have to distribute a -2. And on number 5, you have to distribute a -1.